Fire up some baseball nuggets, everybody. Love that. Now, let's talk about Andrew Heaney. Andrew Heaney announced his retirement, and he probably holds a fond spot in a lot of Rangers fans' hearts. He had a 2-year stint with the Rangers, was a part of them winning the World Series. He had his first 10-win campaign during the regular season in 2023, and then also got the win in Game 4 of the World Series through 5 innings of 1-run ball, and that was the game that made it feel, I think, to a lot of the Metroplex that the series was over. I realize at 3-1, that most certainly did not mean the series was over, but that is kind of the vibe and feel I had after that game. So shout out to Andrew Heaney. He did a lot for this franchise.
He did, and he crossed the 10-year mark for service time, so he had a good run. And all I can think about when I see him is that game that you mentioned, and Creed. That's all I can think about when I see him. He is the founding father of our rallying cry
I think
of
I
higher.
forgot that, honestly.
Yeah, he was the founder of that being played in the clubhouse to rally the troops and get ready to win the franchise's first World Series. But on top of that, he's also an incredible dude. So enjoyed the very few conversations that I got to have with him. But again, like a few of those players on that team, a signing that you're like, oh, yeah, okay, cool. Yeah. They signed somebody. And then he ended up being one of the most consistent guys for you down the stretch and did anything you asked him to do. So he is forever great in my heart.
Now, the Rangers made a different pitching move. They picked up Nabil Krismat. He saw some time late in the season last year for the Diamondbacks. So the 31-year-old made 5 starts over the last half of the season and had a 2.61 ERA over 31 innings. So you're like, hey, that's not bad at all. Going into the final weekend of the season, then he got lit up by the Dodgers, 7 runs in 3 innings. And like I just told you, he didn't pitch a lot. So he finished the year with a 3.71 ERA. But the Rangers went ahead and signed him to a minor league deal. We've talked about this a lot in the offseason. These are probably the continual kind of deals that you're going to see the Rangers dabble in. Let's go from that to the question was posed by MLB.com. Who is your number one bounce back candidate for the Rangers next season? And the reason why I think that's so important is because Chris Young has talked so much about how they got to improve from within. So is there a player that you're like, hey, this is my leading candidate if we're going to improve from within?
Ooh.
There are plenty of options.
Yeah, and that's why
unfortunately.
That's why I'm like, I could give you probably 4, but I'm trying to limit it to 1. I would go, I'd say Josh Young.
Okay.
Because he got sent back to the minors. Like, that was emblematic enough for me that something has to change, and maybe the leash that he has gotten a lot shorter than people may have realized, because we did see, again, going back to that 23 season, we saw some incredible things, and early on in his career, he flashed a lot defensively. It seemed like he was doing a lot more than we expected him to do.
Yes.
It seemed like he was answering to the big moment at the plate. His plate discipline was good early on, and he kind of strayed away from all of it.
Yeah.
And that trip to the minors seemed like it did kind of spark something in him, like a bit of a wake-up call. And I hope that he is, because remember, before the season started last year, he tried to be the leader of the team. And he had those little coolers filled with goodies and gifts at everybody's locker in the clubhouse. And he said, yeah, I'm doing that because I'm trying to take leadership of this team. And I'm trying to be the guy that people can lean on. So it's the same thing that we talked about with Marcus Semien. It's hard to be, I'm the leader when you're not producing.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping for his sake, and I'm hoping for the team chemistry's sake, that he ends up bouncing back, so people, maybe even within the clubhouse, kind of take him a little bit more seriously and say, hey, he's not the most experienced guy, he's not a well-traveled vet, but he knows what he's talking about, and he performs every night.
Well, MLB.com also selected Josh Young as their pick to click and most likely to turn around. But you do see multiple other suggestions from the 903, Kamar Rocker and Evan Carter. From the 817, Jock Peterson can't be worse than the way he started last year. Yes, one of the worst modern offensive history seasons in baseball history. From the 361, Evan Carter, Jake Berger comes up as well, and I'll probably steer away from Jock Peterson because he would have to be a whole lot better, I think, for it to make a particularly positive impact on this team. So I think I'll go with you on Josh Young until I totally pivot on my opinion and say, you know what? I'm going Evan Carter. All right, so I really was going to say Josh Young, and Josh Young, if he can turn it around, that could be great for this team. But I keep thinking, because somebody goes, can we just go back to the 2023 season? I keep thinking about Evan Carter in the playoffs in that 2023 season, and that's probably what gets me in trouble, because that player might not exist over the span of an entire season. But I'm going to go with Evan Carter, but I totally understand and appreciate your vote for Josh Young, and obviously MLB.com does as well. Bryce Harper, man, he is embracing the petty, and I got to admit, I appreciate this. He posted a video, I believe he posted it to TikTok, of him hitting in a shirt that said "Not Elite." Now, this, of course, goes back to the really perplexing statement that the Phillies president, Dave Dombrowski, made a few months ago. And it's not that I disagree with Dombrowski, saying he's a quality player, he's an all-star, he just didn't have an elite season like he has in the past, and then insinuating he doesn't know if he can be elite anymore. I'm not saying he's wrong, but as the president of that team, that feels like a really terrible thing to say out loud to the media. So Bryce Harper, he's embracing it, and maybe I'll have a hell of a year because of it.
I like it, and you know me, I love pettiness, and I love absurd levels of it, and I think this is borderline absurd. It's not quite absurd, but it's borderline, because the fact that he addressed it without addressing it, but he was really addressing it because it clearly bothered him. But it amazes me to no end when leadership figures like that in sports say the quiet part out loud and expect nothing to happen, nobody to talk about it, nobody to get offended in the process. It's like, those are the things that you say in like arbitration hearings, right? That's where you say, you know, these 14 players that make $2 million less than you were way better than you. Why should I give you that money? You say that in a closed room, you know, in a private environment. You don't say that out loud and let the media get a hold of it, because you know what we like to do? We like to cause messes.
Yes.
So the noise gets louder and louder. That it still blows my mind that he said that.
So let's talk about a player that was formerly in the Texas Rangers organization, Nick Torres. He was with the Rangers in 2018 at the AAA level, but he has since been away from MLB-affiliated baseball. He was a fourth-round pick in 2014, but most recently, he's been starring in the Mexican League, where he was the 2025 MVP. Since 21. He has been hitting .343 with an OPS of 1.025, and that is the reason that Nick Torres has now been signed by the New York Yankees.
Ooh. I always love those turnaround stories.
For sure.
Because, you know, you see people do that a lot. They fall out of the majors and they go play independent ball and whatever. And some of those players you can look at and say, dude, it's time. Give it up. But then guys like Nick Torres say, screw you, I know what I'm capable of, and I will show you, and I will claw my way back to the majors. I love stories like that because it shows just how incredible the game of baseball specifically is, how many avenues there are to show what you've got. So that's why at this point, it's hard for me to ever doubt anybody that does go play international ball or does fall out of the majors and say, no, I'm going to make it back, because, yes, you have a good chance because these other organizations, they care enough to help you get back there. It's pretty cool.
He hasn't been with an MLB affiliate since he was 25, and now he's 32.
Wow.
It is incredible. And the last affiliate he was with, like I said, Texas Rangers, back in 2018.